Michael, we have lost you. Hello, so I think Kingsley, you can go next as Michael comes back.
All right. Thank you so much, Trudy. I must actually say that AI and geospatial intelligence have actually played a very good role when it comes to Africa development landscape. Because it have actually offered a lot of opportunity, innovation, and then it have also addressed several challenges. Like if you are talking about resource management, where you use AI in mapping and monitoring of resource, like forestry, mineral, and rest of them, AI have actually played a very good role. In terms of disaster response and climate change, just like flood monitoring, drought, and rest of them, AI have actually played a very good role. In terms of infrastructure, because when we are looking at infrastructure like urban planning, transportation, hospital, and rest of them, AI have actually played a very good role. In terms of security, also, it have actually played a very good role in that aspect. And this have actually been a very great thing. Just like I said, it have actually bring about innovative development and rest of them. And in terms of capacity building, this have actually provide a lot of opportunity, just like many people have actually been trained, empowered with these skills. And these have actually been a very great thing because it actually, the synergy between geospatial artificial intelligence and then AI actually hold a very significant potential for addressing development challenges in Africa. And strategic implementation and collaboration which have actually taken place in Africa have actually made AI a very good technology for continental sustainable development. And I think, like I said, it have actually offers us a lot of opportunity, a lot of innovation, and have actually been using it to address a lot of challenges, both rapid challenges. So I think it have actually shaped African development landscape. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael, are you back to answer the first question?
Yeah. So sorry about my connection. I'll just really supplement on what Kingsley has mentioned. And with this, I'll give some of the case studies we've had in regard to AI here in Uganda. Like OpenStreetMap Uganda, we've done some projects with the Geogram Consortium and Upande. In this project, particularly, there was an AI model that was being trained to help. This AI model is able now to predict the amount of yield of crops if you depending on the data that is fed to it. We went to the field to collect some data which was being used in this development. So I believe there is a lot of potential of AI because all the data that was collected was geospatial data. So meaning it is geotagged when analysis is being done. So there's a lot of potential that I see in regard to this that it will help us if you to do, for example, agriculture. You're able now to determine how much yield you will have depending on the soil conditions, depending on the rain and all other factors that favor a given task that you're handling. So yeah, thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much for that. So my other question I had for you, you've both mentioned about Kingsley was mentioning the different aspects AI could be used, like the different sectors. Are there significant examples you could give and be like, okay, in our community, maybe this is what we have worked on, a specific example? Like for us, what we have been training on, for example, us, we've been training on improving service delivery for the councils using AI, whereby we study the data. We've been modeling the data, and then the AI is able to even answer questions that, because to be honest, our councils do not have the manpower to do everything they need to do. So what we've been doing is we've been replacing that with AI so that it helps out to work as a council person, so that even though the people in the community would want to access the council services, the AI is able to address all their needs and attend to them as though it's a council person attending to them. So that is one way we are. Some of the models we are working on, and we've implemented some in that regard for smart cities. So it would be good if also we give examples like in your communities or what you're personally working on, so that those today can learn something. Maybe when they go back, they'll start from there. I don't know, Michael, you could start. Mike, are you there?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm here. Thank you so much, Gertrude. As I gave the first example when I was explaining the previous question, but to add on that, we are also helping in bridging the digital gap within our communities, because you realize that however much AI is available and all that is available, but if there is no enough expertise or people to really get it, do the work that is needed to be done, it will still not impact enough, because that's one of the challenges that our communities have for them to be able to get this on board. They don't have the required expertise that needs to get all these things done. Another project that we are handling is the project that is funded by the World Bank, called estimation of the energy demand in the agriculture sector. We are going to collect this data, and actually some of the phases are done. And then this data will be used to do estimations of models that are going to be created from this data to help estimate which areas are more in demand of the electricity that is to be used for agriculture. And then other stakeholders will come in and extend electricity to these places and to boost the agriculture. And you can relate between the Geogram project we did with this particular project, because they are all based on agriculture. Uganda being that is one of the countries that is dependent on agriculture, most of the projects we've handled that require geospatial data analysis and all that, most of them are based on agriculture. But as well, we have projects that are helping bridge the digital divide between the different stakeholders and communities, so that by the time we are able to bring in the localized kind of AI models and stuff like that, they already have the expertise to handle this kind of information. Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. Kingsley?
Yeah, we have a couple of projects. I'm just going to mention a few. In terms of OpenStreetMap mapping, we had a project which is satellite for imaging for social good, where our community map about 1.5 building footprint using AI and using AI. And that have actually helped us within a short period of time. About few volunteers were able to have up to 1.5 building footprint, and that have actually helped us so much well, because when it comes to disaster where you need a quick and rapid building footprint or data sets, AI have actually helped us get that achieved. Then in terms of disaster management in other aspects like flooding, we have actually done a couple of projects that have to predict flood in Nigeria. One of the problems we have in Nigeria is flood. And before, it was very, very hard for us to actually predict when there is flood and where there is no flood. So we actually, based on natural, to look at when there is high rain, and we keep on monitoring those things. But with the advent of AI, we're able to integrate it and then train a particular model where we use some parameters like the land, the soil type, the elevation, and then the rainfall data to be able to actually predict when there is going to be a flood, which we actually did in part of Kogi, and we're looking at implementing to the rest of Nigeria. And we have also currently doing something in landslide. After the landslide that happened in 3rd May 2000 this year in Shira in Rwanda, we come up with using AI to actually solve that problem, where we are trying to use remote sensing data and then building footprint, which also part of AI, which we are trying to use to predict where there will be landslide, where there will be flood and rest of it. So we have actually done a couple of projects, not just only that, we are also doing something using where we used to actually solve like noise, pollution and rest of them. So where we use AI, train a particular model using some parameters to be able to dictate where this will happen and where that will happen. So we have actually incorporated that in our different works, and it's actually working perfectly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I had another question for you, and my second question is, what specific challenges does Africa face in utilizing AI-powered mapping for infrastructure development, resource management, urban planning, healthcare, disaster response, among others, because there are various sectors? And in what ways can we use geospatial intelligence and AI collectively to address these challenges and create opportunities for positive change? Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Trudy. First and foremost, I must say I identify a particular challenge in using AI and geospatial intelligence. When we were actually working on imagery for social good, it was between Nigeria and Kenya. And on personal research, I started working on trying to identify the differences and the challenge in using AI in mapping in Nigeria and Kenya. And that actually prompted me going to wide globally, where I try to identify what is the relationship, what is the challenges between the AI predicted building and the satellite imagery that we have. And I realized that in Kenya, there is a particular teeth of an angle, there is a geometric error in using AI in building prediction. And in Nigeria, we also have its own challenge. And that is why I started advocating for we should be having that is friendly artificial intelligence, meaning that it should be trained locally, because in Nigeria, we are currently about 223 million people. And Nigeria have a diverse culture where we have different types of way we build. Like in the north, you have a different type of building model. In the south, you have differently. And in other part of African countries, it's actually a challenge, because when we have a model we train globally and we are trying to apply it locally, it creates a lot of data quality errors. Because for those who actually have used AI will understand what I'm trying to say, because some things it predicts in the south part of Nigeria's building is not the same thing in the north. And this model is trained globally. And if you apply it locally, it becomes a challenge. Now, when we're working when I was working in Kogi at this Nigeria flood prediction, I realized that because I use satellite imagery, which is Sentinel-1 SAS data, and I realized that in VV, for those who understand what I'm trying to say, in VV and VH, they are not responding the same thing. And if you train this kind of data globally to actually feed into actually have a flood prediction, you will realize that there is going to be a coarse prediction. So I think one of the challenges we have, number one, is we need to localize every AI. When we are trying to train a model, it should be localized. Every community should actually train their own data based on the type of this thing they have. It should not be globally used. It should not be globally, it should be localized, not globally. And that will actually be. Another development challenge that we have is I think there is a stereotype in Africa where we feel like AI is not working. Somebody will actually tell you that what you are doing, how do you validate this thing? Because sometimes when you say you use AI to do this thing, the person will tell you, no, how is it true? So we have this kind of stereotype that AI is not performing right, AI is not human being and rest of them, even though it is actually true, because there are a lot of things when you see AI do, you'll be amazed. But the whole thing is we should change this stereotype where we believe in ourselves. Africa, we are actually lacking behind, because there is a particular project I was working on, and I was trying to let the stakeholders know that we can use AI to do this thing very fast and quick. And then some people be like, AI and this kind of stereotype we have in Africa is actually a challenge, because stakeholders will not support you with funds to be able to do a research to actually come up with something tangible in AI, because they feel like, oh, if AI comes up, how do they trust the data? And secondly, some people feel like bringing up AI actually takes them off their job. For example, if you have a mapping activities you want to do, and you're looking at targeting 2,000, okay, 10,000 building, and you say you can use AI to do that, meaning that the rest of the other people who are actually there won't be engaged, because you are going to use AI to do what they are going to do. And because of that, so many people have actually this kind of stereotype. They are not really in support of using AI. So I think it is actually an implementation problem. Another thing, like I said, is a fund constraint, because sometimes we have issue with fund in Africa to be able to actually come up with implementing AI in our different distance. Then another thing is, I think, will I say collaborative and initiative, because Africa, in another way, our government have issue with collaboration with other governmental or international organization in making sure that we leverage on AI to solve a lot of problems in Africa. Then another issue is policy, because there are places I know where I went to actually get some data to train some model, and they are telling me that they won't be able to give me the data, that the data is private, is for ministry use only and not for another thing. So I think these are challenges we have in Africa, and I think strategic this thing can actually solve that kind of problem. And another thing is training. So I think Africa need to invest much on AI and geospatial intelligence, because it's looking at Africa now, it's actually making us staying far from other continents, because we neglect all these things, stereotype and rest of them. So I think these are challenges we have in Africa, and it needs to be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Before Michael starts to speak, I would like to request, because the room is full and one of the panelists is failing to come in because the room is so full. I was requested that we request one of you to go off so that he's able to join, and you joined via YouTube. We are so sorry about this. I don't know who can go off so that the panelists can be able to join, and you can join us through YouTube. The link has been shared everywhere. I think you'll be able to see it for the YouTube. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. So, Michael, you can start your points.
Yeah, thank you so much, Gertrude. A few months ago, I wrote some articles comparing and explaining some of the issues that especially OSM contributors and volunteers face in regard to using AI in their mappings. And I'll just mention a few of them, then I will take it to a broader picture. One of the challenges that has been in a place since the initiation of using AI in regard to OSM and data is data quality. The quality of data produced by most of the people confuse AI and then the machine learning, because we expect AI to be precise, because this is an intelligence, but machine learning is just people come in and train models to perform different tasks. So there has been an issue of the data quality that is available, and you find that if one of you has been keen, if you try to run and the AI generated data on a populated area, you find a lot of inconsistencies compared to the data in remote places, because there the models are able to create some precise data in regard to the density of buildings, for example. The models are able to create really perfect data sets in remote areas. And then another problem that has been there is the data integration. You find that the process of taking AI data, integrating it, for example, in OSM, has been an issue, because like the communities don't have like enough expertise. If I may ask here, like most of us here already contribute to OSM and stuff like that. If I may ask, how many of us here have used Map with AI, or how many of us here have used Rapid ID? You may find that just a few of us have used these tools. So you find that even people are just rigid. Some people can say, for us, we don't really want to use AI in our businesses, so we better go with the old version of doing things. So those are some of the minor challenges that we as a community can look into. But also there is an issue of governance and policy, as Kingsley has mentioned. You see, some of these things can't be really implemented without following policy and government intervention. And you find that most of our governments and institutions are not really ready to take on this. Yet it is one of the things that is very key in terms of solving complex issues that we may underlook. Yeah, AI is able to help us fix these issues. And also there is data privacy and security concerns. You see, things also mentioned about this. Governments, like in Uganda, we had some talks where we are looking at building a data repository, a national data repository. But you find that ministries and the government institutions are really not confident with sharing their data to other institutions or stakeholders that may need this data to really provide solutions to pressing issues. So these are some of the issues. And one of the key issues that we also have is, as I mentioned, is the expertise. Yeah, when there is an issue of not having people that are skilled and trained to really handle issues like these. So yeah, that's from me in regard to this. Thank you so much, Gabby.
All right, thank you so much. As our other panelist is here, I would like to request the panelist, if you're speaking, you can maybe switch on your video if you don't mind, so that others are able to see you. Our other panelist is here. I would like him to introduce himself. Severin.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry. Apparently, there's I'm not in the right room. I've been told it was there, so I'm joining with my phone. Apparently, the question is about what the local authorities could do with the AI, and there is already a large answer made by my fellow colleague panelist. So what I would say regarding that,
the question,
yes.
Hello, Severin, hold on. The question they were answering was the question number 3 about the challenges. I don't know if you could also speak about the challenges that Africa is facing for adaptation of AI and geospatial intelligence solutions.
Okay. I mean, regarding the challenges purely for Africa, the thing is, generally algorithm and AI have been trained generally in Western countries, and maybe they are not always fit to the African context. You know the story that is well known that, for example, the facial recognition, it's mainly have been tested with white people, and it doesn't work as well as it does in Western countries in Africa. Okay, that's something like this. If it's related more on our topics regarding geospatial, etc. Also, maybe we need actually to be sure that the AI are trained within the African context. Okay, and the thing is also related to AI. What maybe one be concerned about AI, this is the magic box, but it also can be the black box that we don't know mostly what it is within the AI. We raise questions, we get answers, but how the thing has been processed by the AI to give the answers, we need to pay attention to that and not to grant, the answers as the best one. Okay, and promoting open AIs actually is something that really is key in this topic, I think.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you so much. Yeah, my other question was on how can we ensure that geospatial data and AI technologies are accessible and ethically used to benefit everyone, no matter the sector, so that every person from the last mile from the authorities to the person in the village, how can we make sure that this geospatial data and technologies, they're accessible? Thank you.
This question is also for me?
For everyone, for all of you, the three of you.
So maybe someone will start. Someone else.
I think Chico can start, then Michael, then Severin.
All right. Thank you so much. To actually make I actually paused my video because of network. To actually make AI technologies accessible, I think there are a few things we actually need to look at. Number one is we actually need to have a regulation, an ethical regulation and guidelines in terms of data, which going to address the issue of security, going to address the issue of accountability and transparency, because like I said, most times people feel like getting their data make them prone to a lot of things. So I think having a regulation where different governments or different organizations come together to sit down and review and write down ethical guidelines, clear ethical guidelines that have to do with regulation, and then the guidelines, I think that will actually also help. Then another way is actually making sure we promote what we call data security and privacy, because individuals actually feels like their rights or their security are being violated. So there should be a robust cyber security measure, because I have a little background in cyber security, and I understand what I'm trying to say in some part, because sometimes individual feels like their information, their sensitive information, and then are not protected. And that is why anytime you talk about data, AI, they start feeling like you are trying to invade their privacy. So I think we should also look at that part. Another thing is we should also encourage open data development, because open data development is actually a great distance where everybody have open data, and then this can help us do research. If I have open data, everybody can leverage on that information for their own benefit. So when we are looking at this, we should not be talking about making the so we should encourage open data development. Data and these things we are working on should be accessible to all, because when we have access to it all, we will feel like this is actually our own. We should also try to bring in training where we should help in capacity building, community engagement, and then collaborative partnership and rest of them. So this is actually going to help us. Another thing we should also address is bias, because sometimes, like I say, many people feel like we should migrate the bias into like this bias in fairness and equality in terms of, because in Africa, there are some of the countries who feel like when you are bringing a kind of technology that they are less inferior to other people. So we should try as much as we can to make sure that we don't have bias in terms of this. So we should share data, encourage open data development, and this will actually help us achieve these challenges we are having. So I think I'm handing over to Michael. Thank you.
Michael?
Yeah.
Try to be in 1 minute. The next questions, I would like 1 minute of you answering, so that we are running out of time, so we can save some time for question and answers. Thank you, Michael.
Okay. Let me try to turn on my video if it will work. My network is not so stable as well. Yeah. Kingsley mentioned most of the things we need to do. And one of them that is very crucial and important is the capacity building. Yeah. We need to set up workshops, trainings, because people, like, some people might be willing to get on board, but then they don't have the expertise and the skills needed to really provide the solutions that they need to provide. So that's very, very key, having the expertise. And then another thing is also looking into the policies, because you might find that in some countries you're not even allowed to use some data sets, or you don't have access to some information because of the policies that are in place. So that needs to be looked into and have it resolved, and everything will be fine. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, Severin, sorry about that. I lost my connection. Severin, you are going to speak next.
Yeah. Okay. So the question regarding access to AI from all the individuals, etc. I think, yes, it also depends obviously to the access to first to internet, even if maybe there would be some AIs in the future that will be actually embedded in our smartphones. So yes, access to devices, maybe to internet, or maybe there will be offline AI in the future. I mean, we are at the beginning of it, and it's really hard to say what kind of what's the potential for all the citizens, all the world in Africa with that. I think if there's some, I mean, there's some economic interest first that will, I mean, push that, but we also hope that it would be beneficial for the development, and that's not something that will just be a new financial burden for the citizen, creating new needs actually that was not actually felt that's something that was really needed by the citizens. And yes, I hope that we really address new issues and just not create some economical profit for some companies.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you so much. I'm having just one last question. I had another one, but let me just ask this last one, because we come from OSM communities, majority of us here. And I would like to ask about how can we empower the local communities and see to it that we have strategies and initiatives in place so that they are able to utilize AI-powered mapping technologies. And also, I would like also to know how can the local communities ensure that there is collaboration between the government, the private sector, the non-government organizations. How can we ensure that there is collaboration on top of us ensuring that there is capacity left behind? The strategies that we can put up. Thank you. If you know, just help me answer in 1 minute. So if you have questions, kindly put them in the chat, or you can ask them on YouTube. Thank you very much. I would like to start, maybe Kingsley starts, then Walter, Kingsley starts, then Kaluba, and then Severin.
All right, thank you. I think for us to enhance capacity of our local communities, we should actually encourage them by supporting them. Now, we should keep on supporting the local communities. Another thing is we should also, in terms of mapping, we should actually keep on using the tools. What I mean by using the tools is like Michael said earlier, there are some of us who don't know about using RapID or Map with AI. So we should, OpenStreetMap should encourage people more to use it. And in terms of using to improve this data, we should do something like data mining, where you actually use the data. For example, there is issue with the map with AI. The AI should automatically suggest what should need to be improved. So with this way, from local to global, it will actually be better. So I think more collaboration, more support to local communities, and encourage them, and also have an implementing policy that will make them use those tools to actually work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Michael?
Thank you so much. To me, what we need to do to get the OSM communities use these tools more is to support them. Yeah, in support, I mean, there is now, like, for example, in some of our countries, the government isn't really involved in setting policies in regard to internet access. In this, I mean, like, the cost of the internet access, because now most of our communities, some people might be willing, I've seen it in several cases, some people are willing to contribute to OSM, but then they don't have the capacity or the required resources really needed for them to do the contributions. So I support to communities, and then also collaborations. I've seen cases where different OSM communities are looking for funds from the same sponsors, and there's always this and that. So I think, one of the things that we need to do is, instead of us standing as solo communities in our respective countries also, we need to come together. And if we are to look for support to stand as communities, we need to ask for this support as a sole community, all of us in one accord. We will be able to have this support that is needed, because they always say divided we fall, and all that. So if we are not in the same accord, we will not surely have sustainable communities that are able to get these technologies move. And then also another thing that is very important is to localize this. Yeah, we can find means of explaining all these terminologies to the layman who doesn't understand the complex English that is involved. So we need to localize our tools, and have the entire community get involved in the decision processes, in the trainings and workshops, in the capacity buildings, and all that. We need the local person involved in the process without leaving them outside. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Michael. Severin?
So who's first, Michael or I?
No, yourself. Mike has finished.
Okay. Regarding AI in relation with OpenStreetMap, for me, there's pros and cons. I will start with the cons. And so far, we have with the OpenAI some maps with AI, etc. The process is to review, features that are made by the AI, and so the switch would be from, skill mappers to some people that would be just AI reviewers. And I think first, that's not the same experience at all. And I prefer, mapping that just reviewing something made by an AI. And also, this would...
Okay, I think we have lost...
Really? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. So I was saying that switching from skill mappers, or mappers getting skilled and being better and better over the time, to people that would just review features made by AI. That's not the same OSM experience first, and also that would lower, I would say, the global skills and basically the accuracy of the object at the end, because as of now, the accuracy of the AI is not as good as skill mappers. So that's something we could pay attention. And also, for the moment, AI is free, but that could also change in the future. The pros are, and it's especially, for example, in Africa, where the mappers, they start by mapping some features like buildings, etc. And we all know that newcomers, they made some quite of relatively not good edits. And involving, as I think in their learning step, feature that would be produced by AI, showing that that would be what could be an average good mapped feature, would be something interesting, because mostly the newcomers do worse than the AI. So the AI, I would say, is interesting to train the newcomers first, than producing the last end data put in OpenStreetMap. That's my 2 cents about it.
Sorry, Trudy has dropped off. And again, we are only having 2 minutes to go. Do we have anyone who has something they want to say before we end the meeting?
So maybe you can answer the question, even if she's not here.
Severin, you had asked for questions towards?
No, I think there was a third person to answer the question about AI and OpenStreetMap.
Kingsley? Michael?
Yeah.
I think, yes, Michael was the last one to talk.
Okay.
From what she said.
Okay, Kingsley, can you wind up the session for us, please?
What do you say, water, please? I think I had you breaking up a bit.
I'm just saying, can you give the final remarks as we end the session? Because
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining this section. It's actually an amazing one. I really think it is actually time for Africa to get back on track when it comes to geospatial intelligence and artificial intelligence. That will really help us in several ways, solving the problem when it comes to disaster, agriculture, and then also combat our continental challenges we have. So it's actually nice to be here. And thank you for all the panelists for doing an amazing work today. Thank you, Trudy, for this insight. Is actually great. I think Trudy is back. Yeah, can you hear us?
All right, thank you so much. My network got off. Africa's problems. You see, where we need people to come in the sector of provision of internet solutions. I hope Ellen's thing solution helps us. One of the people, the attendees had asked, I just want us to conclude, they had asked about how accurate is AI. AI is only accurate when you give it the right data sets to so that the right algorithms become correct. If you give it not qualitative data, it also not give you qualitative answers. And because we work with OSM communities, I believe we can ensure quality by having people on ground to collect the data that can be modeled. Because imagine if you do not have people on ground, then you won't have good models for you to do to build your solution. So that is where we need everyone to be part of this, everyone to be part of the data collection, because if we do not have the data, the qualitative data, then we shall not have good AI solutions that come out. So that is how we ensure qualitative AI solutions that can be developed. So everyone is involved, whether you went to school or you didn't go to school, whether you have GIS knowledge or not. The tools that we use are very easy for data collection, that you can easily learn, and they can easily be even translated in the local languages so that we are able to collect data that can be used, and we can use that data to train the models and perfect them. Thank you so much, Severine, for being here today. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Kingsley, and to all the participants, the attendees that have come in. Thank you, and those that have asked questions. Thank you so much. We have other sessions going on for the state of the map. You can see where you can, which sessions are good for you to join. You can check out on the website and check the program. Thank you so much all for coming today. See you in the next sessions. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.